think the big problem this country has is being politically correct. I've been challenged by so many people, and I don't frankly have time for total political correctness. And to be honest with you, this country doesn't have time either.
Yes, political correctness is out. American exceptionalism is back, ready to re-empower our republic as one nation under God by restoring our unalienable rights of life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. This is the Conservative Syndicate, real conservative talk from real conservatives, with your host, John Matthews.
The latter-day prophet,
saying against the hypocrisies of our time,
and Joe Hakos.
You want answers! I want the truth! You can't handle the truth!
The Conservative Syndicate is comprised of some of the most informed pundits and activists available today. Together we seek to tear down the imaginary wall of separation between church and state through education, information, and engagement on the religion of politics and the politics of religion. And now, your hosts of the nationally acclaimed, globally syndicated Conservative Syndicate, John Matthews and Joe Hakos. And how are we doing out there all across this great land of ours and around the world? It's that time for the Conservative Syndicate coming to you once again live, nationally acclaimed, globally syndicated. We're glad to have you with us today. Another beginning of another broadcast week out here at the Conservative Syndicate. And, there's so much minor news out there, so much major news, but so much minor news. And the ongoing experiment by the media is to try to figure out what to report where. I just one of the things I just start to show off here today talking about is I watched the news conference between Donald Trump and Canadian Prime Minister Trudeau, and it was kind of an interesting little exchange as it played out, how both sides kind of walked a little bit on eggshells when asked questions by the press about NAFTA. That was the probably the biggest part of the conversation. And Trump they'd asked him to compare the renegotiating of the NAFTA with Canada versus what's going on with Mexico. And it was an interesting exchange. And I got to tell you, I was very impressed with how Trump handled it. He really kind of stuck to a script per se, meaning he didn't really. Well, I don't know. It's hard to describe Donald Trump when he talks because I do not believe the guy has the gift of eloquent speech. But then again, that's what got him elected. And but I really liked the answer by Prime Minister Trudeau when he was asked about the immigration ban. He said, basically, I didn't come down here to lecture Donald Trump how to run his government. And I thought, no, boy, I wish more people would say that. Even though the Canadian Prime Minister is much more at odds with Trump on this immigration situation than, they're like, oh, come to Canada. It's like, yeah, you need to defect someplace. Come to Canada, we'll take you. Yeah, we'll see how long that lasts. Anyway, let me get my counterpart in here. Joe, how you doing today?
Well, I'm not going to Canada, but they can go to Canada. They should all go to Canada. Go to Canada. In fact, go live in Trudeau's house. Yeah. Go to his house, live on his steps, sweep his yard. I don't care what you do. Stay out of here, though. Stay out of the United States of America. Unless you want to become a citizen and actually love this country, stay out.
Well, you know what I was envisioning as I was listening to this was years ago out here in California, we had this big thing. Hollywood got a burr under their saddle, and they were going to. Anyway, they were talking about the homeless out here for a while. They had this big homeless campaign that was going on, and Martin Sheen was the one that was heading it up, and he was telling people that they should go and camp out on the lawns of the city, city officials, the mayors and stuff like that. And, as a way of letting them, make them aware of the fact that homelessness was just, becoming an epidemic. And I remember the response from almost immediately from everybody was, well, Martin, give them your address. You know, you live out there in Hollywood. You live out there in one of those places which they find on, map of the stars kind of thing.
Yeah, go live there. You damn hypocrites. Let them come to your place. You guys are all protected. It's everything. They're just they're hypocrites. Just amazing to the point. It's nauseating because I can't stand these people anymore.
I know.
It's like it's time for you to grow up.
Yes.
They need to just grow up. I'm sick of this crap that's going on right now. It's just it's madness. I can't put up with any more of it. It's like, stop it. Grow up.
I know. It is. You got to, all weekend I was involved with a couple of social media threads with my little group of liberals. And, the topic was climate change. But it was a long narrative. There were several people involved in this. And over the course of the weekend, it really ran like the whole weekend. There's probably 70, 80 posts out there on this one little thread. And the ability or the willingness of these people to entertain non-relevance in their narratives and their arguments and get into the little snipping and everything else. There was a four post thread on somebody who misused an apostrophe. It's like, God, can't you guys just, take a moment and just try to absorb what's going on here in the big picture?
Well, the thing is you have senators and people in the House of Representatives. They're just absolutely they're using this as fundraising. To hear, if I get to see Chuck Schumer again, I think I'm going to throw something at my TV. That rat can just there's probably millions of people that live in that state of New York that don't have any representation because he's in office.
Well, yeah, does it make you miss Harry Reid yet?
No, not at all. You know what I need? What I would like to have Harry and that rat Schumer do? There's a lot of holes in that desert out there in Vegas that were filled in after they placed some bodies in it. That's what needs to happen with those guys. They need to disappear because first of all, they take an oath to support and defend the Constitution of this country, and they do not do that at one bit. Do they do that?
No.
Not one of them. You know who really ticks me off is that Luis Gutierrez, that guy from Illinois. You want nothing to do with this country except to bring foreigners in. Legally, illegally, it doesn't matter. You don't care about this country one bit except to make it a big, giant, just welfare honeypot.
Yeah, well, a new Mecca. It's a new Mecca for, the pilgrimage to the United States. I'll tell you, my thing I've been watching all weekend, really getting a kick out of, was Al Franken out there telling them that he's got all these Republicans telling them that Donald Trump is mentally unstable. And I'm thinking, Al Franken is talking about the instability of Donald Trump.
Franken, yeah, there you go.
That doesn't get any more asinine than that,
I think you're going to have to play one of his ads today, then, John.
Mr. Stuart Smalley himself out there telling and not naming the Republicans, but just telling them, several have come up and told him that, I really kind of question Donald Trump's mental stability. Well, that would probably be John McCain and Lindsey Graham off the top of our head. And both of those guys are one brick short of a load themselves. So you got the mentally unstable. It's like one flew over the cuckoo's nest. You got these.
You can't talk like that about John McCain. He's an American hero.
Yeah. Well, you know what? I kind of have adapted the view and have for some time now that just because you ended up a POW doesn't make you a hero. I have to go along with Trump on that. Just because you got captured for showboating, by the way. You crashed your plane while you're out there showboating. That's why he's got the nickname Maverick. It wasn't because he's a rogue in Congress. It was because he was a showboat that crashed a plane out there over Vietnam. But I'm just kind of like, as a fellow veteran, and I think only veterans really have the authority to comment on this kind of stuff. The hero thing is way overplayed. What? You survived a POW camp, therefore you're a hero? What did you do? What were you doing that would be heroic, that we could look at and be heroic?
I've seen other POWs from the Hanoi Hilton. I consider them way more heroes.
Oh, yeah, people that are out in the trenches fighting, maybe defending their comrades and got caught. The last one surviving or something like that after, taking on, innumerable enemy and things like that. People that were actually, in combat, really doing something and captured. Yeah. Okay. I got it. I get it. Somebody on a bombing mission and they get hit by anti-aircraft, fire or something like that and they get brought down. Yeah. Okay. There you go. But you want to tell me that you're a hero for showboating and crashing a plane, and just because you hung out in the Hanoi Hilton for 5 years, that qualifies you as a hero? I'm sorry, not in my book. This whole thing about being a military guy, there's a lot of military people on the left right now that are just backcrap crazy in their support of liberal politics and ideology. So, I'm not into this, that automatically stamps you as a hero just because you wore the uniform. Sorry. I don't buy that. I don't. I just don't. So, anyway, hey, we got to go to our first break here. We'll be back in just a moment. We'll get into our day. We're going to talk mostly today about fake news, but I want to talk about the Ninth Court Circuit ruling last week and some of the other little things that are going on here. The Mike Flynn controversy. I'm kind of still trying to gather the data on that. But stay with us right here at the Conservative Syndicate. Don't go away. We'll be right back. We're not arguing. We're explaining why we're right. The Conservative Syndicate. Real conservative talk from real conservatives.
When our water heater broke down last month, it was a nightmare. It took 5 hours for the plumber to show up, and he charged us a couple of $100 just to come out. And then it cost another $1,800 to put in the new water heater. By the time it was all said and done, I felt like I'd been taken. But what else could I do?
The smartest thing you can do is get a home warranty from American Residential Warranty. Their home warranties pay to repair or replace all your major appliances when they break, and they will break, and at the worst possible time. Call American Residential Warranty right now for free information on home warranties starting at just pennies a day. Don't wait for your refrigerator to stop running or your ceiling fans to stop turning. Call American Residential Warranty right now. Ask how you can save up to 50% on washer and dryer coverage. Just call 1-800-790-5960. That's 1-800-790-5960. Again, 1-800-790-5960. Call now.
Limited time offer, 24-month commitment and credit qualification require cancellation fee, auto pay, and paperless billing and other restrictions apply. If you can't see the difference, why pay the difference? Switch to Dish for the best deal in entertainment. Only Dish brings you the best in entertainment for less than $20 a month. Cut the cable and don't get directed. Switch to Dish because at just $19.99, Dish saves you every time you turn on the TV. It's so simple. The same channels cost less with Dish. So since you can't see the difference, don't pay the difference. Switch to Dish for the best deal in entertainment. Get premium movie channels free for 3 months, starting at just $19.99. Dish saves you every time you turn on the TV. Call now to save with Dish. Dial 1-800-600-1645. That's 1-800-600-1645. The same channels for less than $20 a month. Dish. Call 1-800-600-1645 for details.
Hey folks, if you're like me, you don't place a whole lot of trust in today's media for the real truth and facts regarding the volatile world of finance and politics. When I want the real scoop on money, I go to the most trusted source I know, my good friend and colleague, Bob Cardoso. Bob is a noted expert with a PhD in international finance who airs his nationally known, globally syndicated show, Robert Cardoso Live Daily, Monday through Friday, 3 to 5 p.m. Pacific Time. With Bob, you get the right information at the right time from someone who knows his business and can help you make the right decisions concerning yours. Again, Bob airs daily, Monday through Friday, 3 to 5 p.m. Pacific Time. Visit his website at robertcardosolive.com for information regarding stations and topics. That's robertcardosolive.com. Check Bob out. You'll be glad you did.
Attention taxpayers. If you've received a notice from the IRS or state, do not ignore it. It's also a big mistake to try and handle your tax problem on your own. If you owe back taxes, it's a fact that the government has the power to take everything you own, including your home, business, wages, savings, and your freedom. But here's the good news. There's a special toll-free tax hotline set up especially for you. This tax hotline will tell you about new programs that are geared to help you dramatically settle, reduce, or eliminate what you owe. But you have to call now. Take down this number or put it in your cell phone. But call 866-761-0959. 1-866-761-0959. When you call, you get free information on how you can reduce or eliminate back taxes, including penalties and interest. You can also be helped if you have unfiled returns, a tax lien, wage garnishment, bank levy, or if you have been entered into a payment plan but can't make the payments. Don't make the big mistake in thinking you can ignore or handle your tax problem on your own. You can stop the collection process immediately. Call this special tax hotline today for free info at 1-866-761-0959. That's 1-866-761-0959. 1-866-761-0959.
Now back to the Conservative Syndicate. Real conservative talk from real conservatives. Okay, hey, we're back and ready to get going, ready to kick it into gear here. A couple of loose ends here. You know, I talked about this last week. We ended up with loose ends, and I think the way things are going, because things are just transpiring so quickly these days, it's extremely difficult to just stay focused on one topic at any given time. And I really want to spend some time talking about fake news today, the entire picture, the entire spectrum of it, because it's being played by both sides very narrow-mindedly, I guess is what I'm thinking in my mind here. But there's a couple of things going on here, if I can. Joe mentioned here during the break here about the number of leaks that are coming out of the Trump administration. And that has really kind of, I've been paying attention to that too. It's because the media is, and that falls within this whole concept of fake news. Really, it's one of the aspects of it. And when we get into the actual topic itself. But before we do that, I just want to point one thing out, just to make a quick note of something here that I just observed today shortly before we came on the air. They've made over 680 arrests already on immigration raids. And the Homeland Security Secretary reported today. And they're saying that most of these arrests are criminals, people that have been arrested and for murder, or have been found, or in question for murder or whatever. But everything from murder to driving under the influence. And these people are all being set up for deportation. One of the things Donald Trump talked about today in his press conference with Prime Minister Trudeau up in Canada was the fact that he said basically, we're going to empty this country of illegal criminals, people that are here illegally that are criminals. We are going to get rid of them, plain and simple. But what I found interesting in the article that I was reading is that Barack Obama, apparently during his administration, the immigration services was also arresting people and deporting them for crimes, violent crimes, not as minuscule as driving under the influence, but they were deporting illegals that they were finding through immigration, through Homeland Security. And it immediately hit my mind, why weren't we getting daily reports from the media that Obama was deporting people from the United States? It's not a real stretch here to know why. Obama didn't want anybody to know that he was trying in any way, shape, or form to enforce the law. But it's amazing to me that every day now we're getting a report from the media about the number of people that are being picked up in illegal immigration raids, they're going down there and finding these people. And I never heard a peep out of the media if the immigration people are out there every single day doing this and did it during the Obama administration. Why wasn't it ever reported? You would think Obama would want people to know that, since the big, immigration snafu and the big debate about immigration. You would think he would want to at least portray the idea or the thought that he's trying to do something that he's supposed to do within his authority of the executive branch. But not a peep. Do you ever remember hearing anything about immigration picking people up? All we heard about were sanctuary cities and refugees and people coming up from the South and being sent out to schools and this. But I never heard any reports of the number of illegal immigrants that were being rounded up on a daily basis. Did you, Joe?
Well, they weren't being rounded up. They were being turned back at the border. Remember all this? Obama's deporting more people than Bush ever did. But all they were doing was at the border, they were turning them around. That the people that, at a border crossing, the people that were coming across illegally, trying to get through, just walking over and doing it through the standard illegal method, those people weren't being turned away at all. It was the people going through